Good morning. My name is Nathan Martin, and this is my video for the chapter 1 and 2 response to the questions video. I've got my questions typed out on my phone, so if I keep looking down, I'm going to go through and read the questions off of it. I've also got my book with some notes that I took as well. For question number 1, looking at skills on page 5 in the table, what, in my opinion, are the top 2 or for leaders need, and to identify them and to explain. So there were several good ones in here, and some of them encompass others. Like one of mine that I thought was super important was communication. You've got to be able to communicate, and things like listening was at the top of the list. Communication, listening is a part of communicating. So like I say, there's some things in here that kind of they all kind of fit together, I guess, in a way. But you've got to be a good communicator to be a leader. You've got to be able to tell people what you want, what you need, what you want to know. And you also have to be able to listen. Inside of that communication, there has to be the message has to be conveyed and it has to be received. So listening is part of communicating. You've got to be able to talk to other teachers that need help and actually hear what they're saying and not just kind of brushing them off and things like that. But you've got to be a communicator to be a leader. And the other thing I had was people skills. You've got to be able to relate to people skills, to people. You've got to be able to actively listen and engage and be helpful and not like I said, kind of just miss them, but be able to work with them to get what you need out of them and to be able to help them as well. Because if we're helping each other and we're working with each other, we're going to be a lot stronger in that. Question 2, I think, was the same type of question. What are the top 2 dispositions that teacher leaders need to possess? The first one I picked was just being approachable. If you want to be a leader of people, people have to be able to feel comfortable enough to come see you. You've got to be able to have kind of like an open door policy. Like if you ever need anything, y'all come reach out to me. I'll help you any way I can. Like you've got to be approachable. Otherwise you're not going to get, people are going to have problems, but you're not going to know about them, or they're not going to come to you for help, and they may never get fixed. And then how are we going to grow if you're not approachable? The second one, I struggled with this because there were 2 that I liked. For the second one, I liked supportive, being able to support teachers, but also like being consistent. I'm going to go with supportive on this one. And I'll just give a quick, I like being consistent because I want to know that I want to feel that a leader is being consistent with me, because I don't want to see other people being rewarded or punished in a different way than I am for the same things. That's the biggest thing with consistent. But supportive is probably my second pick here. I know I kind of cheated there and got an extra one. But supportive is probably my second pick, just because if you're being supported, you feel valued, number one. And if you feel valued, you're going to work harder for those people. If you need help, you know you're going to get it. And that just overall makes for a bigger group of teachers and a school working together for one cause. And that helps morale, and that helps in so many different ways. So just being supported and backed up if a parent complains or something like that, and just being supported by a leader saying you did right. This is a separate issue that will be handled in whatever way possible. All right, moving on to question 3. Question 3 was on the table on page 31. Get my little sticky notes here. Spun back around. It was choose 2 ways that I feel would be great strategies to reward teachers and why. One of the things that I put to reward people was comp time. And I feel like I'm in a small school, and financially we're not necessarily as blessed as other schools. So, and sometimes ever since COVID, the like subs, our sub list is short, or we don't have enough subs to cover for teachers being out, or we don't have the money to pay for subs. Whatever the reason is, a lot of the times teachers have to use their planning time to cover classes if we don't have subs or something like that. So, keeping that in mind, if I am being rewarded for something, maybe they ask somebody else instead of me, or I believe it said in the book. I'm looking to see where it was, but it said about maybe some comp time on planning days. If I on teacher work days, if I've got everything done at the end of the year, because a lot of the times, like with us, they want our grades turned in before our work day. Well, then we don't have that to do on our work day. So as long as we've got everything planned and organized and straightened up and everything, maybe that could be a day that I don't have to come or something like that. Or if I've got a doctor's appointment, there's something that I've got to maybe not, obviously not using the whole day or whatever, unless I've built up comp time, but let me be able to run an errand or go to a dentist appointment or something like that without being penalized with like a sick day or a personal day or something like that. And the other thing was greater I liked the one about greater decision making power, and I don't know that it's necessarily greater decision making power. There are people that are hired above me that I feel like need to be making the decisions, but maybe just kind of rewording that one and be able to have more input on that, being able to ask questions, um, being able to get answers to those questions. Like, y'all say we're going to do this, but we're not doing this. Why? And if we aren't, why aren't we doing it? Like, I feel like this is a good thing that y'all have put in place, but maybe we're not enforcing it. Is there a reason why we're not enforcing it? Or something like that. Being able to just not necessarily, I can see just getting to make decisions, but just being able to be in that conversation or being asked, hey, we're thinking about doing this from the teacher side. What do you think about this? Just being able to have that opinion on topics like that heard, I felt like would be good reward, good pay. If I'm doing my job and I'm being respected as a professional and an educator. The fourth question, let me pull this back up. How important is it for teacher leaders to have a good working relationship with their principals, and why? You've got to have that is very important. You have got to have a good working relationship with your principals. You've got to have an open door policy, because we see things in the classrooms that need to be addressed, or maybe something's being passed down from above our heads, maybe even above their heads, is being passed down to us, and it's causing a lot of friction, or it's causing a lot of undue stress, and we need to be able to have conversations about that. If I have something that I'm being expected to do, but maybe I don't have the resources or the materials or whatever to complete that, I need to be able to walk in and say, look, y'all are wanting me to do this. I need to be able to do this, and I need y'all's help in that. So something like that is always, you've got to be able to have that. And there was one of them I was looking at. I don't need everything either to be sugar coated. I need them to be able to tell me, look, you're doing a great job, but I need you to work on this. I need you to do this better. I need somebody that's not necessarily going to just try to be my friend all the time, but they can give me constructive criticism, and we've got to be able to have that relationship. So if I see this person as unapproachable, or we don't have that good relationship, when I do get that constructive feedback, I may take that in a way of, well, they're just out to get me, or they don't like me, and they're not. This other person's doing something. It's going to create a lot of undue stress. It's going to create a lot of tension and animosity inside of a school. So teachers and principals have to have a good working relationship. There has to be a mutual respect, um, and to be able to deliver both the positives and the negatives, because that's all part of it. Hopefully that answers everything for this. That was some interesting topics, and made me think a lot during these chapters and those questions. So there were a couple, like I said, there was one I kind of went back and forth on because I couldn't really decide what the best way to answer that question, or what I felt was maybe one of the best. So there was a lot of thinking back and forth there, and intriguing thought. Thank y'all.